Greetings, Guardians, and welcome back to Destiny. I'm ManoDestra777, and in today's Destiny video, we're going to be talking about the weekly reset. This is the first time that the reset has happened since House of Wolves has dropped, and now we have a few more things that we have to pay attention to. First of all, a couple things to show off. Really excited about my hunter. Got lots of sweet loot from the Trials of Osiris. If you have not yet tried it, please check it out. It's a lot of fun. I even had some people who weren't very good. We talked through it. We really got to get better at it. So next week when Trial starts, definitely something to check out, folks. Definitely something that's manageable. You just have to make sure that you have a solid team and that you work together. Okay, let's get right into the weekly reset. First of all, the Nightfall for this week is an old one. It is Sepix Prime on Earth in old Russia, but you'll notice that there is a new modifier. There is Brawler. So for all those times that you got light switched and you wish you could light switch the enemies, this is your time. So one of the strategies I would definitely take advantage of is trying to keep your distance, just like you would with light switch. But now if you get a jump on the enemies, you might be able to light switch them. So something to think about. There is no burn this week, but it's not very difficult. One of the things that I actually did was right before when I saw it come up on the playlist is I turned my Black Hammer to 365. I ascended it and made sure that I used the White Nail perk against the tank and against Sepix. The Nightfall went very quickly, and I'm going to be posting a video of that here shortly. So that is the Nightfall. The weekly heroic strike is the Taniks the Scarred heroic strike. So that's level 26. Again, this is the first week it's reset, and you'll notice that the Nightfall and the heroic strike are not the same anymore. I really like that because instead of it being the same thing and just running the same map over and over and over again, it feels like there's variation. It feels like there's something different to do. And if I'm not necessarily feeling this strike, I don't feel bad about not doing it. Because I've done the Nightfall. Anyway, we also have the Daily Heroic and the Control. Remember that anytime you do one of the maps here for Crucible or PvP, you have a chance to obtain passage coins that you can use in the Trials of Osiris. So, something to think about. We're going to take a second. We're actually going to go, because with the weekly reset, there are also a couple other things we need to check out. First of all, the Prison of Elders has now reset. So that means that instead of doing Urox's Grudge and the Cabal boss for the 32 and 34, there are different modifiers. There are different bosses at the end of it. So I'm going to be sharing those with you as we go to orbit of the reef. First of all, the level 32 is the Flame Prince Urox. That will get you an armor core and a House of Judgment XP, as well as a new one, the Forever Eater. It is a Vex Carnivore. We're going to kill him. It'll be fine. Okay, so that's going to be really interesting. It's going to be the first time we're going to see one of the Vex bosses, so that is really cool. Now, Skolas is always going to be the same. However, the modifiers for the boss are always going to be different. So again, in Bungie's attempt to try and make things more interesting, you can see here that they have been randomized for the week. So I will be telling you what is going to happen in all the stages as we fly into the reef. First of all, for Urox's Grudge on level 32, round 1 will be Hive with Trickle. Round 2 will be Cabal with Small Arms. Cabal will happen in round 3 as well, and that will be Morbid. Round 4 will be Hive with Arc Burn, so that's a little bit scary again, because that was one of the problems. But if you're level 33 by now, that maybe won't be too bad. Okay, and then Urox's Grudge will be Solar Burn. It's a very, very similar spec to what they had last time. In fact, it may be exactly the same, except that it's on level 32. I honestly don't remember. But that's kind of interesting that the round 4 and round 5 are very similar. Of course, if you've played Urox's Grudge, you'll know that that Solar Burn is very important. Okay, for the Forever Eater, level 34, we're going to have Vex with Catapult. Catapult, again, gives you more grenade energy. We're going to have round 2 with Vex and Void Burn. So you're going to have to make sure that you watch out for Minotaurs during that section. Next, round 3 will be Brawler. and you'll be going up against Fallen. Round 4 will be Vex again with small arms, and finally round 5 with the boss will be Vex with Trickle, which means that you get very little energy for your special powers. Skolas's Revenge, the level 35, will be, first round will be Hive. The second round, Hive with Morbid and Brawler. Round 2 will be Grounded and Airborne with Vex. Round 3 will be Cabal with Catapult and Angry. Now, in the past, it said Angry, but it's actually been Arc Burn. So that's just something to think about. I'm not sure. Always make sure that you check your specs when you actually go into the Prison of Elders, because it said on the website that it was Angry, but it was actually Arc Burn. Round 4 will be Specialist with Juggler, and round 5 will be Trickle and Small Arms for the Fallen boss. So that again is very similar. In fact, that might be exactly the same. But what I was understanding is that they were going to try and make those bosses very, very, very similar in the boss fights, but the other rounds were going to mix it up a little bit. So that is the Prison of Elders for this week. Of course, you can still always go back and do Crota or the Vault of Glass now that you're leveled up, and maybe get some exotics that way, but you can only get the old exotics through those 2 maps. Now, we can go over here. Another thing with the reset, we need to look at what Variks has for us at the House of Judgment. We have a chest armor, which will give a strength roll for hunters. I am not sure on the other 2 characters, but I believe that they are also strength. For sale, we have the Servants of Axor fusion rifle, which is an arc fusion rifle. The big thing here is that the weapon deals moderate bonus damage for fallen shanks. Got some really cool specs on it, and it looks cool. The impact is out of this world. It also does have accelerated coils, which bumps it up quite a bit. So this would be very good in PvP, or maybe if you're just bombing around in an area where you need to take out some arc shields. Remember, you can always go and use an armor core and a weapon core to get a Judgment's Chance. And we're going to go over here to the Trials of Osiris. You will note that when we go over the Trials of Osiris right now, nothing will be unlocked. But that's because it starts later in the week. You can see that the packages are here, but nothing here is for sale. But so when we talk about the weekly reset, that's not going to include the Disciple of Osiris, okay, and Brother Vance. Okay, let's go look at the bounties for this week for the Petra bounties, the Queen's Wrath bounties. Let's take a quick peek. This week we have Calyx 12 and the Cosmodrome Skywatch, which is a really good one to farm treasure keys for. Next up we have Picus, the Disavowed, and the Citadel. I actually enjoy going to the Citadel to farm keys more because it's a very small area and you can usually get in and out of the maps very, very quickly. So these 2 are great places to farm for keys if you haven't done that yet. Next we've got Savix, Queenbreaker, and the Anchor on the Light of the Moon. Of all the ones I heard, Savix is probably the toughest, but it's still very manageable. You just have to make sure that you're making sure that they keep their shields down, and Savix keeps the shield down, and you knock them out very quickly. Next up, hunt the wanted wolf scavengers in the Hall of Wisdom on the Moon. Hunt the Queenbreaker Captain near the Cosmodrome's Dock 13. I have not yet seen that, but that looks very cool. That'll be something to check out. And then we are going to hunt the Wanted Ether Runner near the Endless Steps on Venus. So if you don't know where those spots are, come back later and I'll have you another video to talk about where these 3 particular bounties are. Of course, you want to make sure that you get your Queen's Wrath up, because that means you can buy the different shaders and the ship if you do not have it. I like my basic normal white ship, but that's just me. So Guardians, that is the weekly reset. There is a lot to keep track of in Destiny, and instead of feeling like you have a checklist of things to do, it now kind of feels like you get to choose your activities. Do you want to do PvP? Do you want to go do some prison? Do you want to go do some bounties? You have a lot of options open to you, folks. There's a lot of things that you can do and a lot of opportunities you can have. Of course, always make sure that you pick up your bounties from the bounty tracker here. If you're in the reef, there is one here, but also make sure that before you go to the Nightfall that you go and pick up the Erismorn bounty that gives you extra motes of light for completing, not completing, but killing, I believe it is 10 exalted enemies in the Nightfall. So Guardians, that is the weekly reset video. I'm ManoDestra777, and A thumbs up if you like something in the video. Smash the subscribe button for even more Destiny content in the future. Thank you so much for taking time to check out the growing channel. Don't forget to check out my Twitch live stream. All that comments and all those things go down below. You can also find information on how to contact me down in the description below. I love gaming with new viewers. You can check out all my gamer tags. Feel free to add me as a friend. I try to get to as many people as possible, but I look forward to gaming with you guys in the future. So until next time, Guardians, I will see you in the universe of Destiny.